And hey there, hi there, hope there, hello there, and a gracious good morning to you. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we discuss with you weekly the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics. Certainly always a fun time to talk about anything great within the Cardinal women's programs, and we'll continue to do the same today with a slightly smaller cast than normal. We have two of our regular show participants out today with Case being off doing something case related. We're not sure exactly where he is. And Daryl on vacation traveling. So it'll be me and Jared and Jeff today as the three of us bring you through what's been going on, what's happening, and certainly some fun things to talk about as well. We'll catch up with the guys here real quickly before we get into other things like scheduling and Twitter and stuff like that. Jeff was talking a little bit about being a supervisor and being a supervisor that doesn't know what's going on. Some interesting concepts.
Okay. So no, I mean, I would say I'm in a transition period in work. Gave notice and a little over a week ago at my work, so kind of a transition period right now. And the person who was my senior manager, there's a reorg going on, so that wasn't going to be the case anyway. But who was my senior manager is out on a bit of a medical leave, so as far as I know, he doesn't know I'm leaving. So he's going to come back and I will have been there's going to be a reorg. I wasn't going to be reporting to him anyway, but then he's also going to find out that I'm gone. So that'll be interesting. So
So you've entered the transfer portal, but nobody knows except you.
oh no, plenty of people know.
But
There's a lot of people that know in the group in the organization, just not this one person. So that's a little interesting.
you may be getting a call from Jeff Walls if you're in the transfer portal. Be careful. Okay,
Yeah,
Jared with us.
I've already committed, so you know.
You're already committed. You've already
Yeah.
talked to a coach.
Yeah, I got my new laptop sitting here too, so still in the box. I haven't opened it yet, but
Wow,
that arrived.
you've already got
Yes,
the laptop, so
yeah, it arrived yesterday. So
I'd say
new
it's a done deal then, right?
Apple. Well, yeah, pretty much Apple M1 Pro, MacBook Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a Mac fan, but a lot of people really like the Macs. So
Well, my choices were MacBook or a Windows PC, so I chose MacBook. So, but
probably the wiser move, I would think,
well,
based on what I've
it's
heard.
tricky for me. I'm a big Linux user actually, and so the question there we just dropped it. Great. The question is always, how well supported is Linux within an organization, and can I then pick the Windows machine and install Linux on it and be functional as an employee of the organization? I didn't really have good information about that at the time that I was making the decision. So, given the choice between Windows or Mac, I went Mac as the less bad option in my mind. So, but I would rather have Linux for myself. But yeah, we'll see.
We won't argue any of that with you.
Yeah, yeah. Lest we turn into a tech podcast.
Absolutely. That would be about all 5 seconds with me. What
Yeah,
switch turns it on?
yeah.
How do you get out of that screen? Okay, I
I tell
got
you
it.
what, the past 2 or 3 Macs I've gotten for various reasons, whatever that's been in my possession, it has usually taken me, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute the first time I open it up to go, where is the power button? Because they don't generally make them very visible. It's literally a matter of finding physically where and feeling around and finding where it is. Like the one I currently have for my current work is just like it's at the end of the touch bar and it's just black and blends right into the touch bar. So
Yeah,
kind of
you think
don't know it's there.
you'd kind of think they changed the color because I've got a Lenovo that's the same way.
Yeah.
The actual on-off button's the same color as everything else on there. And if you're kind of in a darker room or everything, it didn't really stand out. And if you've forgotten where it is, you're like, how do I turn this off? Where's the move
Yeah.
button?
Yeah.
Can't find
I
it.
mean, it's
Uh-oh.
only the first time. Once you find it, it's like, okay, I know where it is. But, that first time.
We also got Jared in the house today. Jared's been following intently on all this stuff here, I'm sure, as he gets ready to He's back from vacation. Is vacation officially over now, Jared?
I wouldn't even really call it vacation per se, as much as a full day on the road each way, and then down there long enough to get engagement photos taken and everything. So it was more a quick trip than anything, and then turn around, get right back into work, and play catch up at work.
Oh, kind of a 3-day tour then. Okay.
Yeah, we were down there, I think, 4 nights officially, but really only had a couple full days down there.
Now, do you take the path that takes you through Knoxville to get through there, or do you go down the West Virginia Turnpike to get down that way?
We did the Knoxville route. It was quite a bit quicker from what it looked like.
Gotcha. Just past experiences and going to Greensboro or stuff. I've been told to go both ways by different people. Of course, at Greensboro, obviously a little higher up in our geographical state of the nation than where you were at in South Carolina, but I just kind of wondered how that worked out.
Yeah, and she's just south of Charlotte too, so the route for us to go is just quicker to go out towards Lexington with 64 and then ride 75 down to Knoxville area and kind of work our way. Then you got to cut through the mountains from there, which isn't as fun.
Yeah, I know that mountain jump that leads you basically right up out of the state of Kentucky into Knoxville itself is never a real fun sequence in that at all, and never take it when it's foggy. Holy cow!
I'm not a big fan of the West Virginia Turnpike though either. So it can be absolutely beautiful drive, particularly in the fall,
Oh yeah,
but it's tiring drive.
it can be a real tricky, and the
Yeah.
weather conditions up on the higher elevations of it can really catch you by surprise. It was a few years ago. We were actually headed down to the ACC tournament down there. Me and a buddy of mine, Tom Curley, who used to go down there with me. And we go through the second toll booth, and the lady goes, "Be careful, there's snow up ahead." And we're like, "What?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, yeah, there's snow up ahead. Be careful." And we started noticing cars coming our way that had it. And all of a sudden, we run into what I call a blinding
Mhm.
snowstorm. And it had been 50 degrees an hour earlier,
Yeah.
and nice and pleasant. Boy, so, and driving the West Virginia Turnpike when it is basically almost closed in because of snow, I don't recommend it.
I, when I went out to Phoenix a few months ago, we got detoured because snow had closed the road. It's like, really? In Arizona? Okay.
Those things will happen. But, Jared has a great pictures that he put up on Facebook showing that it is official now that the rate and those are really some great photos too, Jared. What did you all do to get those taken, and where did you have them done and such?
I was out at some like greenery garden place that was about 40 minutes away from her home, and I can't remember the name of the place off the top of my head, but it is pretty neat. You gotta pay to go in and take pictures there, but really really nice. They had some indoor areas, a lot of outdoor areas, plenty of fountains, and it kind of reminds me of the biological gardens that they're installing downtown Louisville right now, just 20 times bigger.
Yeah,
The botanical.
Or botanical, sorry.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
but yeah,
biological. You weren't wrong.
right. But it was certainly really really neat to check out. It's just South Carolina weather is similar to Louisville weather, just a lot more humid.
I would imagine closer to the ocean. Yeah, that humidity would be a little more intense. I would think down that
Oh
way.
yeah.
But, as for me, we could wear really not a whole lot happening. I was trying to do some early Belmont figuring, which I got kind of confused on a couple of the races leading up to the Belmont. On the Belmont, I'm crystal clear though in my thinking. I just hope the horses agree with my crystal clear thinking. Okay, that would be a nice thing. I'll tip you on it. Mo Donegal, a horse for the course. So if you want some Mo money, bet Mo Donegal and the Belmont Stakes. All right. Other things going on this week certainly had some interesting things happen as far as what's been going on with the University of Louisville and in some certain areas, and also some things that we're happy to see take place with the cards. Uh, we have a national champion. We'll get
Mhm.
into that in a little bit too. That'll be a lot of fun to talk about. Plus, she's doing an interview with the media Monday, and I'm just kind of
Cool.
hoping she'll show up with a pole and
Yeah.
jump, in the media room at the Cuber Center. She can clear it. She can get up on the second floor up there where the basketball offices are. I'll be impressed. But avoiding in that
Gosh.
front entrance. So that'll be fun to do. But it's time where we normally get into a little bit of scheduling and Twitter information. And since Case is not here, Jared will take that over and give us the scoop on what should be, I think, a fairly short report for you, sir.
Yeah, the scheduling is a mile long right now. Not really. We've reached the very, very end of all of our scheduling for the 2021 to 2022 school year. The track and field outdoor championships will conclude today. I believe it's just all men's events at this point, with the women's ones having finished up the other day. I don't think UofL's got any men's performance left going on today. I think they wrapped up yesterday. Other than that, baseball. We got a little lawnmower that's
Yep.
getting their advertisement space in there on that one.
Yeah. I'm going to be on mute for a bit.
Baseball will play their second game of the Super Regional down in College Station, Texas, against Texas A&M today. They did fall in a walk-off base hit last night, 5-4. So looking for the equalizer today. Assuming UofL were to get the win today at 3, they'll go on and play the rubber match tomorrow at a time to be determined. If they were to lose today, then we will see the official end of all UofL sports for the school year done this afternoon or evening. So there goes your scheduling going, and sit back and enjoy a pretty open free schedule for the next few months until we get to mid to late August. Things will pick back up. But we'll just jump over to Twitter real quick. Case, who's not present with us today, just tweet out as best case scenario, BST, no E in the word best at the beginning there. Daryl tweets out as Daryl Faust 4, and that's just the number 4. Don't have to spell that out. Paulie tweets out as Cardinal Couple. Jeff's got a couple Twitter accounts at Card Couple Radio and at Jeff McAdams. And then myself, I tweet out as Mr. Anderson Jared. And we are all done for scheduling and Twitter for the day.
Just zipped it right down like that guy cutting just grass out there, right down to the bare minimums. And we are going to see a lot of that coming up. I would imagine, just to kind of tip you all off a little bit, the world famous Cardinal Couple quiz for the podcast should return maybe in a couple weeks. Kind of have to wait and see on that. We normally bring that back in when the sports are done. It takes up a good half hour of time and frustrates all the participants. So my work is done there. I've gotten that taken care of. But moving on into the meat and the bones of things today a little bit, we have a national champion, and her name is none other than the girl who took first place in the pole vault, the incredible Gabby. That's right. Gabby wins this thing. Gabriella Leon, as she's formerly known as, won the pole vault, uh, beating out a couple actually conference participants from Virginia Tech to get it, and in good fashion. It was her actually second highest leap ever that she's ever done in the pole vaulter. Maybe we should call it second highest vault instead of a leap. Although there's some jumping involved in it. 4.60 meters, which equals that to 15 feet and 1 inch in the pole vault.
Which means, yes, she probably could reach the second floor of the Cooper Center if she had a good run up in the space.
Yeah, that's the thing is the run up is probably not going to be a whole lot for her.
If you come down that hallway from like the entrance facing the lacrosse field, plant the pole right in the lobby, you could probably jump up into
Oh,
the
no, go
women's
up that way.
basketball office.
Land
Right?
by the men's basketball office.
Is it men's on that side now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, the men's basketball offices.
I mean, you would have to plant pretty near the elevator, and then
yeah, right about there. Yeah,
that could probably work. You just got to make sure that Lamont doesn't step out of the video room
right.
and interfere with anything, or
Right.
You don't have the players coming over from the women's basketball practice court that are coming out of that side door, because that's where that side door leads to get into the women's practice facility and interfere with. Well, let's see if we can get Gabby to do that Monday, because I'm going to try to go down for the press conference, and I'll just say, Gab, I bet you another year of eligibility that you can't pole vault up to the second floor up there and go visit Kenny Payne.
I will say that those are pretty high. The floors there are pretty high. It may be more than 15 feet, but
Well,
they're pretty close to it.
there's a rail too, so you've got the rail to kind of clear as well.
It's glass. You just punch through that.
Wear a helmet and some eye
Yeah,
protectors, and you'll be
put
all
some
right.
padding on. Yeah,
Yeah, they're going to have to drag the foam a long way to get it in there for her to land on. Once she goes over. If she misses, if she gets up there successfully, she's fine. But yes, Louisville's redshirt senior, Gabrielle Leon, she did it. 15-1, a first team All American jump, as she was very, very, very gracious in the way she handled it, guys, and her post jumps discussion with the media on and up there. She said basically, I'm speechless. This is a dream come true. Having all the hard work and dedication pay off means the world to me. I'm not the only one who deserves the applause. I want to thank God for being by my side through this whole process and giving me the strength to show the world what He can do when you work hard and let Him do the rest. And she also gave a shout out to Coach Brooke Rasnick, who works with a lot of the field events. Also, a shout out to the staff, the teammates, and the fans and trainers and families. So, all comprehensive there. Let's kind of kick this one around here a little bit, guys. Gabby came out there, took the lead, and they couldn't catch her. Jared, that's an amazing thing for Louisville because I don't know if Gabby was even considered one of the favorites going into the event.
Yeah, I'm not sure how high on that list she was expected to finish, but we've seen kind of all year just our pole vaulters and our high jumpers and a lot of our women's field events have been just incredibly dominant, which is awesome. And
long
then
jumpers too this year have been pretty good.
yeah, so we've
Yeah.
been fortunate with our field events in recent years with just their high rate of success and being able to listen to her and how humble she was in her press conference there, it just stands a lot about what type of character she is, and uh, I think it's just part of that Louisville culture that we've talked about in the past, where it's you recruit players part of their athletic skill, part of their academic skill, but also just the type of person they are, and we see that with all the different sports. And it's a shame we can't get Gabriella Leon for one more year with just how talented she is and how she's kind of captained the high jump crew this year, as we've had about three of them throughout the season that have been pretty solid. And she did have her teammate there in the finals with her, with the Leah Welter.
And Jeff, this is not just a okay, grab the pole right out there and jump as high as you can kind of a thing. This is an event that goes to different stages and layers where they have to clear lesser amounts to work their way up to the best jump of it. And it could be basically a 4 or 5 hour process from start to finish on that, which is when you look at some of the other events in the NCAA championships, which are maybe one heat and done. It's a pretty time consuming affair.
Yeah, they have. Obviously, they do multiple heights of the bar that they're trying to clear. Um, they get 3 attempts at it, and then but there's some time between them, so they can make a run, and then they get to kind of sit and process what they did and take another shot at it. Particularly if they cleared on the first one, then they get a little while for everybody else to cycle through and do the next height. But so that helps a little bit. It's not constant activity the whole time, but yeah, it is. It's long. You got to stay focused in on it and concentrated. So there's a lot to that. It's also just there's a lot of technique to that. That is, I am not an expert at it, but just watching it, you go, I can't make my body do that. I don't know how you make your body do that. Um, and so it's pretty impressive to see that. I compare it a little bit to high jump. Of course, I followed Emily Scott a lot this year in high jump as a former volleyball player with high jump, and just watching her develop her technique. We knew she could jump, but developing her technique as a high jump is a similar sort of thing. And then you kind of look at pole vault, and it's like, okay, that takes it just to a whole nother level of technique and movements and uh, core strength to curl your body up. Yeah, I am in awe of pole vaulters.
It's kind of amazing. I think when you watch the whole process from beginning to end. How you run down the runway, you go on and make sure your steps are just right so that you reach where you actually stick the pole into that kind of indentation at to the end of the track to plant, as they call, and then let the pole kind of take you up into the air with the speed that you've built up running and the bendability in the pole. It does basically kind of vault you up into the air. After that, then it's a matter of having body control that you can keep your body in a position where you don't knock the bar off of the pole and that you can clear it successfully. And in her winning jump, there was a little bit of a rattle there, but she didn't knock it off. And it reminds me of years ago. I'll take you way back in the 70s where they had a guy doing men's pole vault who would get up in the air and then just basically hold the pole up against, you know, the crossbars and clear it that way. And they finally said, you can't do that. You can't hold the pole, and then vault yourself over it without it falling off because your hand is there keeping it from sliding off. But just an incredible jump, Jared, and just the process that goes into it. It's I think more complicated than just about any other field event.
Yeah, as Jeff kind of broke it down a little bit a minute ago, and just the strength and the hand-eye coordination on top of having to contort your body in a way that is fairly unnatural. It's certainly one of the more challenging sports out there in terms of just overall athleticism and core building. Not to discredit any of the other sports because all of them do have their own certain skills and talents involved. It's just this one is something that all of us in our more experienced age would not be able to handle.
Just for me running down the track to put the pole in the actual vault sedan would be tough. But also in that event was Leah Welter, Leah Welter, a pole vaulter for Louisville, and one of the three that we had mentioned a couple weeks ago that were prominent in that event for the Cardinals. She ended up with a leap of 4.05 centimeters, which is 55.55 centimeters or 55 meters less than what Gabrielle did. But still not a bad jump. I mean, that's pretty good up there. And I think she finished, 18th, if I remember correctly, in the actual standings. Two other women participated in events for the Cards with Sinclair Savage, part of the women's long jump. And I don't remember exactly, maybe Jared or Jeff, you can help me here, where she ended up, and then also where Martin ended up. She was Katie Martin was running for the Cards in the 400-meter hurdles.
Good luck.
You're gonna have to look that up because off the top of my head, I cannot remember.
I don't think that Martin qualified for the finals on Saturday, even though she topped her personal best time in the 400-meter run with the hurdles, 59:41, which is flying pretty well. So when you got to also consider jumping at the same time, but that did not get her into the finals, unfortunately. So that would be second team All-American honors for her, and I think in the actual long jump itself, Sinclair Savage was in that. I know that she had. This is really late. I did not get to see the final of that.
Let's see. So Katie Martin clocked a time of 58.06 seconds in the women's 400-meter hurdles. It got her 15th, as you mentioned, and then, as you also said, the second team All-American, Sinclair Savage. Let's see. It doesn't say specifically. I know she did not, on her first attempt, she did not finish. I guess that's one of those she probably either had a fault or, fell down during that one. But it does mention that she was an honorable mention for All-American honors in the women's long jump.
Yeah, on those you have to be obviously real careful and not to cross the line in jumping because you can get disqualified for that as well.
Yeah, again, they get multiple tries at it, but they need to make sure that.
Yeah, I think that theirs kind of goes in what they call segments as the pole vault does, different heats where you okay,
Yeah.
everybody's cleared this distance, so we're going to see if you can clear this distance now. Keep jumping, folks. I think Sinclair was obviously in that, but then didn't get as far as the others.
I'm not seeing any of this info on their live scoring. Interesting.
I know the NCAA's got all those stats somewhere because I was
Yeah.
looking at them a couple of days ago, but just how far they've updated them and such like that depends. And plus, you have to consider two guys a 3 hour time difference here too.
Yeah, I'm just looking for. Yeah. I was looking on UofL site on the schedule and the links for it.
It's like when you consider how late it was. I mean, it was like what past midnight I think when Gabby was still out there on the pole vault.
Yeah, UofL's Twitter account didn't post something about her winning until roughly 12:30 that morning. So it was certainly a really late night there.
The coverage that they did have, which I watched a lot of it on ESPNU, though, was all primarily track related too. They were inviting people to go to the ESPN website and watch the field events on that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the live broadcast and such, they were only showing the running events, the track events. So
Yeah, they do break it up into separate broadcasts that they can focus on a little more. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm still trying to find it. I'm not finding any information. This is frustrating. Anyway,
well, Sinclair, if you're listening, give us a call and let us know how it turned out for you.
yeah,
We know she participated. We know she was there, but we never did see a final positioning on her. So maybe we'll run across that later on.
yeah.
But still a good showing. The Cardinal. I think we're currently tied for 6th place on the women's side with 10 points. You get 10 points for winning an event. That, of course, which was able to be done by Gabby. So we were tied for 6th place overall in the competition, which I think would probably end up being one of the highest finishes Louisville's ever had in that event as well. But the field events always been kind of the chance for us to do well in the NCAA championships. Back in the days of Amani Henderson and others throwing the shot put,
Right.
discus and hammer and such, field events have always been strong for us. So good job to Gabby on that for well. Let's go ahead and move away from the pursuits of the track and field and let's take a look at some of the things that are going on the basketball court, if we might. Is we have news that Haley Van Lith will be representing the United States in the 3x3 national team. Something that she's certainly no stranger to, but we find out, Jared, that the 2022 FIBA 3x3 World Cup is coming up later this month, and Haley is on the USA basketball team.
Yeah, Haley gets to showcase her talent not only for the country to see, but now the rest of the world, which is just fantastic with her talent. And it's always good to have some Louisville players in the spotlight just to be seen. It always helps with recruiting purposes, and then for Haley to kind of meet and work with other players. And hopefully, maybe depending on who she's going to be going up against, maybe kind of get the inside scoop on some potential opponents we might have this year.
The actual team itself is consisted of 4 players and will be coached by Kara Lawson. We all, of course, know Kara as being the head coach of the Duke women's basketball program. On the USA team, along with Haley, we have Sierra Burdick, who played at Tennessee back a couple years ago. Also, Lauren Cox, Kim Mulkey's tall center that she had in at Baylor from a couple years ago. And also Ashley Jones from Iowa State, who's still playing for the Cyclones out there in women's college basketball. Haley joins all of those 3, and the event runs from June 21st to June 26th in Antwerp, Belgium. So it's kind of interesting to me there, Jared, that they're going to go ahead and have a team that's kind of spreading a couple years in age and experience here and taking them over to Belgium.
Yeah, we'll have to see how well they mingle and mesh together. That's always one of those kind of tough components when you're throwing players that have never really gone and played together and just throwing them all together real quick with very minimal practice and preparation time. Thankfully for the United States, as a country as a whole, has just produced some really strong basketball players over the years. And we see a lot of talent that's on this team, as well as a strong coach. So we'll see how well they perform when the time comes later this month.
Yeah, a lot of these teams, when they put these together, they'll give them a week or so of time together in training to practice together before they go to the event. So hopefully they'll get that and get to mesh a little bit.
Haley, of course, played on the 2019 under-18 3x3 team and was actually named the MVP of that tournament back in 2019 after the U.S. took the goal in that event. In Burdick, I don't think she played against Burdick in her college career. Cox has graduated. I don't think Cox ever went up against Van Lith either. And we have not played Iowa State during Haley's time at Louisville either, although I can tell you that Ashley Jones is one heck of a ball player for Iowa State, and certainly maybe the best Cyclone, maybe one of the best in the Big 12 conference as far as I'm concerned, the way she plays. So you definitely got a guard, you've got a center presence, and you've also got a pretty strong forward there in Burdick.
Yeah, and there's lots of this is one thing that's always fun about the 3-on-3 is that there's a lot of rotation around and mixing and matching and people playing out of position, which I think is where UofL's game has translated so well to it because we play such in recent years, at least such positionless basketball. You get a 5'7" Mikasa Robinson down there guarding a 6'3" center, and doing a good job with it, right? But I think you look at this 3-on-3 game, 3x3, and you look at it and you look at Haley and Lethy, like these two are made for each other. Like this game is made for Haley. The flashy, the movement, the cuts, the spins, the drives, the impressive, assists and passing. This game is made for Haley. This is where she can really shine. I mean, she's gonna shine anyway, but she's gonna really show out on this type of court.
And Jared, we've seen it in attendance, for watching Haley play her career at the University of Louisville down at the KFCM Center. Haley can kind of do a little bit of everything out there and do it well, can't she?
Yeah, she's one of those kind of do-it-all players. Great ball handler. She can score from anywhere on the court. We've seen, especially this last year, just how solid her defense is, especially one-on-one, which you're going to see a ton of one-on-one defense when you're doing a 3-on-3 type style of play. We'll see what happens if she gets in a weird mismatch with a fairly tall player and see how she can hold her own. But I think for the most part, as Jeff mentioned, this is just an ideal situation for Haley and what she needs to do to really shine and earn that gold medal.
All that gets underway, you guys, on the 22nd of June, which means that they've got, I guess, about 11 days to get kind of ready and practice together a little bit and, of course, make the trip over and such. And the United States will be facing off against New Zealand and Austria on the 22nd in pool play. So
you got a good coach with Kara Lawson, but what's interesting is in the 3-on-3, Kara Lawson's a really good on the floor X's and O coach, right?
Yeah.
At least from what we can tell so far. Her coaching career is not long yet, but I suspect it will be. But she's shown to be a pretty good X's and O's. You can't do that in 3-on-3. The coach can't actually actively coach the team during the game in 3-on-3. It's kind of a weird setup. So, but she'll obviously have a lot of time to work with them ahead of time and help them organize themselves. Is how that works.
Shooting from outside, very important in 3-on-3, obviously, and being able to get the ball inside for easy baskets as well. I haven't watched it since last summer. I think there were some events on last summer that I watched, but it's always an aspect of the different forms of basketball, the collegiate players can play. And 3x3 has always just been so much fun to watch.
So much fun to watch.
The
Oh,
rapid pace of it, and oh, she
it
hit
is
the shot.
rapid.
Oh, she just went in there and got the rebound off the other shot. No, she can't put it back up, but she just went out there and took another three and hit it. Holy cow!
Yeah, and a lot of the 3-on-3 telecasts will not really have a play-by-play person because
Yeah, you just
they
watch.
can't keep up. You cannot you can't speak quickly enough to really capture what's going on the court because it's such fast-paced play.
Kind of need to be proficient at calling a hockey game in order to cover that action that fast,
Yeah.
right, Jared?
Oh yeah, but I think a lot of us like that fast style of play, and it's a great conditioning tool for the off season. You'll see a lot of the players come out just better conditioned because of that 3-on-3.
Another good example for Haley to continue building on the impressive skills that she's already shown throughout her high school and obviously college career at Louisville so far. As we'll be very proud to see her in there, the only representative from the ACC on that team. So, good luck to Haley when that gets started over there, and be careful over in Belgium. Okay, that's all I'm going to tell you, Haley.
Yeah, good chocolate.
Yeah, don't get hooked onto the dark chocolate over there.
Yeah,
Because if you do, you may come back and have to run some laps to lose it.
they have good beer too, but I don't think she's quite old enough for that yet. But
I
well, she would be in Belgium, but not here.
Yeah, we don't want Haley over there posting until 2 a.m. in the Antwerp bars
Yeah.
and then going out and play basketball the next morning. That would not be the best start for her, I think, for the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kara puts the kibosh on that. So.
Yeah, I think Kara may go ahead and hoist a couple, but
Yeah,
not Haley.
Yeah.
Let's keep her in the house. Also, kind of looking at some other news as far as basketball goes. The Cards have received a visit from an Egyptian player. If you remember us talking, guys, a little while back about Jeff Wallace's recruiting trip to Egypt, and we were kind of trying to figure out, well,
it was a quick trip to Egypt.
What's he doing over there? Why is he over there? We saw
Yeah.
internet and Twitter pictures of Jeff Wallace on a camel, and stuff like that, standing in front of the pyramids, but it never really came out for public knowledge why he was there.
It clearly was a recruiting trip.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was clearly.
We just didn't have a name.
But who was he there to see? Yeah, that was the whole thing. We didn't think he had gone over just because, it's kind of a slow weekend. The kids have got camp. I think I'm going to go to Egypt.
Yeah, because he was there, about 24 hours was about it. He wasn't there very long.
It was a quick in and out.
Yeah.
He came in basically enough to pose on a camel and stand in front of a pyramid and watch some basketball. But we have now found out that it was 6'4" Jana El Alfie that he was over there watching. 6'4" small forward, mind you, is how they've got her classified, which came to campus on Monday to visit us. And there is also rumors, credible rumors, that she was also going to visit the Cincinnati campus as well to go visit Michelle Clark Hurt up there. I never found out if she got up there or not, but I can confirm she was on the Louisville campus to see the Louisville facilities there. Jared, this is 6'4", small forward. Are you kidding me? The height we got coming back and everything else, and some of the do you have a 6'4" small forward and a 6'2" power forward? Interesting.
Yeah, I think Jeff Wallace is finally trying to change his style of play as the way the game has kind of moved and kind of progressed in towards of the more height, along with still the speed. You're starting to see less of that true 5 or center position that was kind of that traditional style, and everybody's gonna be able to run, but they've got to be able to have a lot of height too, and that's what we saw in the past couple of years when we played Stanford before, played South Carolina, and it always seemed the downfall was just being outmatched, the mismatch with the height, and I think he's finally just come to terms that that's going to have to be the way he recruits going forward.
Yeah, and then having 6'4" that can actually go out to what we sometimes, I think, consider a wing position in basketball. When you're 6'4" out on the wing, that's a pretty decent thing for you to have out there, guys.
All I know is someone who stretches to get to maybe 6 foot even. I'm not calling anybody 6'4" small.
Oh no! I don't think you can.
No.
Yeah, but she has been tearing it up over there, basically with the 2021 FIBA U18 or is it, yeah U16 team playing in Egypt.
Yeah.
She averaged 18.7 points a game, 10.3 rebounds. It's kind of in the blood there. Her father was the Egyptian women's national team coach, and I would think that she's obviously then well versed, well schooled in the game, knows a lot about the game, and certainly a kind of recruit that I think that if Louisville can get interested and come into school too, I think that it would definitely add to what's kind of shaping up, Jared, to be a very, very strong team after we obviously get through this senior year of people that will be coming back.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the season goes, and just between new recruits, some of the transfers coming in, the players we got returning. Well, I think we've got the making for another strong team. It's just always when the question's how well will the team gel when you have new faces coming in, either as a freshman or as a transfer. Like, are they going to understand that they might not be the star of the show? Are the players that are already on the active roster going to understand that they might lose some playing time to these new folks? So there's always a lot of questions you got to ask in terms of that and how well the coaching staff will be able to, keep that under control.
Some of the numbers on her, Jeff, too, are interesting. Where she shoots over 40% from 3-point range
Ooh.
at 6'4".
Ooh.
That's pretty decent at
That's
5'4".
That's
Yeah, I mean,
challenging some scouting reports there.
absolutely. So I mean,
Yeah.
and so how does Wallace play her, and how do they defend her? Is they going to act like she's kind of a Kylie Shook who can play down low, but can step out and shoot the three, or are they going to play her more like an Emily Ainsley head on the wing, which would be a matchup nightmare, I think, for any opposing forward in the ACC or in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so good to see that height coming into campus if she gets here indeed, and you got to really hope that she does end up here. But Cincinnati obviously has got some interest in her, and they have also got a player which I believe is a sophomore on the Bearcats roster that is from Egypt as well, and I think it played in some of the events with the Jana and in some of the Egyptian team squads that they've had over there when they've taken part in some of the club events they had over there. Also, some of the U.S. not the FIBA events. So maybe Cincinnati has a little bit of a jump on the Sarah guys with already having one Egyptian on their team that might be a good friend. You never know. We hope that Jana makes the right choice though and ends up at Louisville. That's what we got to hope for, right? Will be fun to see her regardless of where she ends up.
Absolutely.
Looking, let's go ahead and I guess take it over now to softball. We've had some things develop since the season ended for the Cards over there. One of the interesting things that we saw come down the pike, Jared, a couple of days ago, Karma Greenwood has got the vibe. What does that mean? She's the Florida vibe. She's going to be playing professional softball.
Yeah, she's joining what's a fairly new program and team, more of a professional team that's runs independently as opposed to with a certain organizations like you would see with the NFL, WNBA, etc., where a lot of these clubs and teams are associated with these completely independent, so they can choose to schedule whoever they're with. We did see during COVID where pretty much the whole National Fast Pitch Association, or whatever they had recently changed their name to, folded, and that was due to just kind of the funding issues that were going on there, which they were kind of hanging on by a thread anyways pre-COVID. Not a lot of interest in the professional softball world here, so this would be kind of cool. They're going to play some international teams, but also the USSSA Pride, which was one of those big time professional softball teams, is still active and running independently now as well. So we'll get to see some of them go up. I believe it's about a 28 game schedule for them across a couple of months. They're going to play mostly down there in the Florida area. Great weather. Might be a little hot at summertime, but it's a great way for Greenwood to continue playing in her post-college career.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that pro league did fold. It actually was a reasonable and fairly functioning pro league, and then Athletes Unlimited came along and said, "Oh, we're going to start up this UA thing that's like a little bit different, and we're going to start with softball." And I'm like, really? I mean, you got a functional pro softball league here, and you're going to do this to compete with it. Like I like UA. I think they've done some great things. They're doing volleyball, they're doing lacrosse, and they're bringing some professional opportunities for a lot of in sports that they don't exist. Right? There is no pro volleyball league in the U.S. other than UA right now. Right? But they started out with softball, where there was an already functioning league, and it was like I was a little annoyed at that. I would have liked them to have started elsewhere because I really think that led to the downfall of this other league that was functional until then. But Jeff rant. So there we go.
Certainly, one of those things where I'm glad that Carmen's going to continue to be able to
Yeah.
play in a sport that she's so very good at and loves so much, and then uh, after where it leads, let's hope that the Vibe has a very successful team and they go on and do some great things. We'll just kind of see how it works out for her. But as for now, she's golden. She's in the pros and playing for the Vibe. So uh, patrol your turf good out there, Carmen, and hit the ball a ton. We'll be
Okay.
cheering for you up here, and hopefully maybe get some of those broadcasts on one of the you know
Yeah, we'll have
internet
to figure that
venues.
out.
Yeah, but whether it be a pay per view or not, I would hope that UofL would keep us up on that. But certainly right now it's kind of interesting to get basketball and other and softball news right now, with there being kind of a shortage of sports information directors in Louisville right now, especially for women's basketball. But we did find out in ex women's basketball stars at Louisville News that Asia Doer is now on a new team. Asia has been sent from the New York Liberty back to the Atlanta Dream, where she first got her start, and just got to be so happy about her with this move, Jeff. It's incredible.
Yeah, this is an amazing opportunity for the obviously. So the dream, and I think that the book ending of this is maybe the greatest part of it is the dream when they first were created as a team. Their very first commercial they did featured a 13-year-old Asia Tour on a playground basketball court, coming out and just like schooling a bunch of young boys out there playing. Um, and it was a hey, think about what might become with a pro team in town. What this young woman out here playing basketball it was kind of how the commercial ran, and so now to have her back in Atlanta and to be playing for this team that she was part of this commercial for early on, I think is a wonderful, wonderful book ending of this. And I can't wait to see what the dream marketing people do with it. that take that commercial because I'm sure they'll do something. But obviously, phenomenally great for Asia AD, as she's preferring to be called now, to play basically in front of hometown. Douglasville, Georgia is outside of Atlanta. So she'll be playing in front of family and friends and so many people that knew her, high school teammates, and who all knows what else, who will be able to come out and see her play, which is just, that's always great to be able to have that type of situation.
And Jared, that is an important aspect of all this as well too. Is that she now is known as AD, and she refers her to herself as they or them instead of her. The non-binary designation for the athlete formerly known as Asia Dura, we'll just now call they AD.
At least tried to, as
So
we've
far,
all
my
pretty
English
well,
teachers
pretty
are
so far
just
failed at it doing that in this
shaking their
podcast.
head and scratching, saying, "Paul,
Yeah.
you idiot! Your pronoun usage has gone out the window." But uh, that's that is her preference, and we certainly want to honor that.
Their
And
preference.
we certainly want to see her continue to get back to the old AD that we knew back when she was a senior at UofL and first broke onto the scene of the WNBA. The unflappable shooter, the tireless worker. COVID's a horrible thing, and when you've had it in a long haul fashion, coming back from it as we're finding out in many cases, Jared, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Oh no, not at all. Just taking 2 years off and suffering with a lot of ill effects from COVID is, as we've seen, has been quite difficult for a lot of people. And the fact that AD has been able to bounce back and get back on the court and not only dress but see a few minutes on the court early this season is a very promising and great sign to have. And hopefully with this trade, AD will become more of the superstar that we remember back in their Louisville days.
We can only hope that for her, and certainly hope that her health continues to improve, and they come on and make a name for themselves. Other Cardinal that are
And we'll practice at getting better at those pronouns.
we would definitely have to
Yeah,
because we all kind of screwed it up.
Yeah,
we spent 4 years with referring to them as Asia or as Dur, and night at Louisville times, and then a few years.
Let's go back to that. Just call them night.
I wonder if night would be able to play anymore. Yeah.
I like the whole night name. I wish awesome. Just the press would bring the night nickname back, because I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah,
she certainly could do that too, or they could certainly. I'm sorry, I'm not getting back into this.
You're working on it. It's a work. You're making it practice. Yeah,
it takes a lot of time and practice. Trust me.
They will be very effective for the Dream. I do hope.
Yeah.
Other cards in the WNBA that we certainly like to follow, kind of an update on them. Aisha Hines-Allen still continuing to be a force with the Mystics. Playing not maybe as strongly as she was in the absence of EDD in past years, but still getting in there for about 20 minutes a game, averaging about 6-7 points a game.
Delanon's still also a little occasional up there.
Yeah, I think EDD set out last night, and I'm pretty sure Maisha went off for about 17 points or so.
Yeah. Maisha having a good night then in the absence of EDD, and I think that's kind of the way that they're playing that situation now, that she didn't see quite as many minutes of EDDs out there, but in any event, boy, get rid of one headache and here comes another.
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
Deladon's not playing. That's great. Who's in? Maisha. Oh no.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any easier.
That doesn't help me any. Right. You're right. Over with the Indiana Fever, Hamley Engstler having a heck of a rookie season with them over there. Seeing over 20 minutes a game, averaging about 7 points and 7 rebounds a game with the Fever. Unfortunately, the Indiana Fever just is not a great team this year. They're still trying to build a team, but Engstler certainly having a great rookie season for them, guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's just, I think when we saw her play in her 1 year at UofL, she's just built for professional basketball with the size, length, the speed, and just that killer instinct. And she's been nothing less but wonderful in her first few outings as a rookie.
And hopefully that will continue for her, playing out there with the Fever. Dana Evans, we cannot forget Dana with the Sky out there. Part of
nobody's forgetting Dana in the WNBA this week. She's got the highlight of the week.
Was that a top 10 as well?
Yes. So, yeah.
A Sports Center top 10 with her incredible beyond half court bank in. Just throw me the ball, 3 dribbles, I'm putting it up. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and in the third quarter, time running out, heave it from basically about two-third court was about what it was, and drilled it. And yeah, that's the highlight of the week for the WNBA right there.
That's just one of them things that Dana do.
Yeah,
it really is. And with a Sky team that has got a strong guard contingent, Jared. You've got Sloot playing for him also up there. She's a strong guard for him. The Sky obviously can make some noise this year.
Yeah, and the season's still fairly young, so plenty of room to keep working, and a decent amount of teams to make the playoffs. So even if you have a rough start, there's plenty of time to bounce back. So we'll see, and I think Dana could be one of those key components in making a solid run.
We certainly hope that she can be. Of course, we do miss Angel. Angel had started out the year with the Lakes before agreeing to a contract buyout after 2 games. Currently a free agent. Then kind of hard to say whether Angel's going to retire or whether she's going to come back. I remember when I talked to her during the season back a few months ago, she was very adamant about the fact that she felt great. She was going to go out and do good things and continue to play, but then unfortunately had kind of another knee issue. I just love Angel's game, and I love Angel's attitude as well, guys, and I hope that she can come back.
Yeah, absolutely. She was always a lot of fun to watch play when she was here. She's, went to a couple of Dream games and saw her play when she was with the Dream. She was a lot of fun to watch in those games. I hope she can come back and play if she wants to accomplish that. It sounds like she wants to. She will have this season off because it is a buyout by the Lynx, and then be available as a free agent after that. So, whether she gets picked up, we'll see. I hope that she can if she wants to, but if she wants to do retirement, I don't think anybody would be really blaming her at this point.
And you think about it, Jared, what if she did retire? What a play-by-play or color analysis person she would be.
Oh, with her experience, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if she wants to make a random appearance at Louisville for a nice TV play-by-play when we're on ACC Network or ESPN or something, that would be fantastic. I'd love to have her on.
Would indeed. And I'll take her all the way back to the days of Mom and the Crazy Aunt.
Yeah, Crazy Aunt Angel. Yeah.
Yeah, she, of course, Candace Bingham was Mom to the team.
Now Candace Wheeler, who is
Yes,
assistant coach for Becky Burke at
yes,
University of Buffalo. Yeah,
up there with the Buffalo squad, and Candace
right.
moving on with her career. Angel, of course, being the crazy aunt on the team that the people had to kind of. But what a combination they were. Others that may make a return, we would certainly love to see him come back. Obviously, Jasmine Jones, Kiana Smith, and then Kylie Shook is sitting out the season this year. Kind of unclear on whether she'll be back with New York when she comes back after a year of sitting out, or whether she'll be listed as a free agent. I'm not really clear on that situation, but know that she did take the season off because of just to get some stuff together in her own house. But we hope to see them get back on the rosters as well. To close it out a little bit with just a little bit more softball news here, and then we'll get into some final thoughts. Is the softball roster that we enjoyed watching this season was unique in the fact that they had 3 catchers, and all 3 are gone. Graduation has hit all 3 of them. None of them getting an extra season. However, there is a high school senior in South Carolina who has committed herself to coming to the University of Louisville, and a very, very good catcher in the name of Sarah Gordon. Sarah Gordon. I can't even read my own handwriting. Sarah Gordon, a catcher who has been named the Player of the Year in South Carolina. We had the question, guys, a couple weeks ago, who's going to be the catcher for Louisville this year?
Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, question answered.
Looks like to me, Jared, this could be a good contendant here. To take
Or potentially, we could have other freshmen or other catchers come in through other means. But at the moment, sounds like we've got an answer.
You definitely have one. There could be more for sure. And I think Holly's got some camps coming up here pretty soon, too. It'll be interesting to see if we get a chance to actually see Sarah come up and to demonstrate some of the skills she had down there playing in Lexington.
Some of these numbers, though, are just gaudy.
Yeah, you had mentioned it, and I'll let you go a little further on it if you want to, here, Jeff.
Yeah,
she's something else.
Yeah, no. So I actually had not seen this news story until Paul mentioned it before in the pre-show in our pre-show conversation. Man, just looking at this release from UofL, her senior year, she hit .598 batting average. with a 689 on base percentage, 19 home runs in that as well. So she's got the power, certainly. But she also had 28 stolen bases in there. So she's both power and speed as a catcher, which is a little weird, but great. She let's see, from behind the plate, she caught 8 of 11 runners on steal attempts. I mean, that harkens back to like Maggie Reckenbrod days of being able to pick off steal attempts there. That sort of rate. So some pretty impressive numbers here. What we got coming in. She could be to really add to what's already looking to be a well-developing infield of a bunch of freshmen and a couple others. So it'd be a great ad.
We would love to see her on board. And here's the stat that got me, Jared. So she's on the 2022 5A state championship series. Her team is playing. She was intentionally walked 7 times during the postseason.
That just shows you how strong of a bat she's got, and someone who's going to help propel that offense now that we're losing some of our bigger hitters in Carmen Greenwood and Kendall Smith. So another big bat that's going to be able to hit some home runs, driving a lot of RBIs. Certainly something that the offense is going to need.
You bring her up to bat, and the opposing pitcher just says, "Nope."
Just point to first. Go on over there.
But you surround her with some other good hitters, and you make it so much harder for a pitcher to be able to do that.
With the camps that are coming up for the hotel, I want to see if I can maybe get down there and talk to Holly a little bit better. Maybe hopefully she might even be at one or two of them. I don't know when the freshmen come in for sure, but Holly's got some camps coming up. Those just actually start on the 14th on Tuesday, guys. The Compete Like a Card offense and Compete Like a Card defense camps on the 14th, where you can go to those if you're in the graduating years of 2022, 23, or 24. So I'm assuming that's for like sophomores through seniors in high school. And then later on in June, they're going to have a camp, which will be all the way from the kids from 2026 up to 2022. Defensive and offensive camps and hitting camps. So a lot of good camps. You need any information on any of the camps for a friend or a daughter or anything like that, just let Griffin Joyner know down on campus. She's easily contacted at Griffin, that's GRIFFIN at gocards.com. If you have any interest at all in sending a kid to one of those nice camps that they have down there. That, my friends, has got us through about everything I wanted to talk about and the guys that wanted to mention today. Anything else out there on the burn that we need to sweep off before we get into final thoughts, fellas? Can anybody think of anything we want to mention?
I only got one other thing, so that's going to be the final thought for me.
There you go. Jared, everything clean on your end?
Nothing over here still to hit. I think we hit everything for me.
Okay, with the plate being clean, let's go ahead and move on to dessert then and our final thoughts. And Jeff, we'll let you go ahead and start it on that for us today.
Yeah, as I frequently do in the summer, I keep an eye on NWSL, and specifically right now, trying to keep an eye on Amina Ekic, former UofL player with the racing level squad. Obviously, hometown's great, a lot of fun, local. They are playing at home tonight. 8:00. It is Pride Night for the Pride Night celebration out there tonight. And should be a lot of fun. Should be some fantastic weather for it. They were at home last weekend as well. Also had some good weather. So maybe go check them out. Should be a lot of fun. Amina usually gets on the court or on the field for some minutes. She's been coming in reserve a lot. Great team, a lot of fun. Still a developing team, but good. They're doing all right, and wish you well.
Absolutely, we do. As they get out there and get a win for us. Jared, what you got?
Oh no, I don't really have anything. I saw a video the other day for Amina's birthday while we were talking about soccer, and Jack Harlow had made a little happy birthday video for
Yeah,
her, and I thought that was really neat. Just star recognizing star.
that's right.
So yeah, so great for Amina, and then cool for Jack Harlow, and just love seeing the city of Louisville love that's going on.
Yep.
It's always so good to have a couple of former University of Louisville stars playing for a local team professionally.
Mhm.
And that certainly is the case that we've got with Amina there, uh, doing her work with FC. And hopefully that'll continue
Hmm.
for a good period of time. And as time progresses, maybe a few more from Karen Ferguson Day's ranks can qualify and make those teams stand there and play in front of the crowd.
Yeah, the organization does have a USLW team, kind of the development team on the women's side, associated with USL league. That is the men's league that Little City plays with, and there are several UofL alumni playing on that squad for the USLW squad. So, they're interesting to check out. Harder to find online for video, but yeah.
Kind
Anyway,
of a minor leagues, if you were, for that
yeah,
team.
essentially, yeah, development league type of thing. Mhm.
Let's hope that their progression can
Yeah,
continue. They'll get up there.
yeah.
As for me on final thoughts, of course, today is a Belmont Stakes Day. If you follow the Triple Crown and horse racing, and it's the third jewel of the Triple Crown in a year which there will be no Triple Crown winner, since you had different horses win both the Preakness and the Kentucky Derby. But Belmont, the longest of the three races, it should be a very interesting race with a bunch of shooters coming in and tracks that maybe ran in the Derby but didn't come back in the Preakness. Uh, a couple from the Philly side coming over who may have contested the Kentucky Oaks but have decided not to take part. And then the shooters that are coming in that are saying, we haven't run in any of these races so far, but we've been looking pretty good leading up to them. Let's take a chance at it and see what happens for us. So uh, certainly I've got an article up on it over at my horse race handicapping site, Paulie Picks, if you want to see who I like at Belmont today. And I know a lot of people have talked about Rich Strike. A lot of people really like We the People, an up and coming horse, creative minister, horses like that. I'm saying give me Mo Donegal, and we'll see if he can get it done for me financially. That certainly want to thank everybody for listening. We've had a really good show, and unless you know something I don't, we'll catch you back here next week at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast. Thanks everybody for listening.